For years, a heavy and seemingly impenetrable silence has hung over the historic stone walls of Windsor and the sun-drenched estates of Southern California, a physical and emotional distance that many believed would never be bridged in our lifetime. The world has watched with absolute fascination as a spectacular modern drama unfolded in the public eye, defined by sharp departures, explosive revelations, and a profound alienation between a reigning monarch and his younger son. Every public appearance, every carefully worded press release, and every icy silence has been meticulously analyzed by millions seeking any sign of a thaw in a conflict that redefined the contemporary British monarchy. For half a decade, the narrative remained remarkably static, locked in a cycle of grievance and counter-grievance that suggested the bridges back to the United Kingdom had been permanently burned. Yet, beneath the surface of this global spectacle, the invisible gears of diplomacy, duty, and deep familial longing have been turning in ways that few could have anticipated, setting the stage for a moment of monumental significance. If you want to stay informed on every major twist in this unfolding story and receive deep analytical updates as these historic events take place, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications right now. The landscape is shifting rapidly, and the whispers emanating from the corridors of royal power suggest that the long, bitter freeze is finally beginning to show its very first fractures. To truly understand the atmosphere of anticipation currently gripping royal observers, one must look back at the sheer finality that seemed to characterize the famous split of 2020, an event that reshaped the royal family and dominated global headlines. When the decision was made to step away from active institutional duties and seek a completely independent existence across the Atlantic, it was not merely a change of address, but a fundamental rewriting of traditional roles. The initial transition was marked by a series of unprecedented media broadsides, from deeply personal television interviews to highly publicized documentary projects and a raw, unflinching memoir that laid bare the internal fractures of the House of Windsor. With every public disclosure, the trust between the two factions seemed to erode further, replaced by a bitter experience that left palace officials deeply suspicious of any communication and wary of potential media briefings. The alienation grew so profound that face-to-face meetings became exceptionally rare, brief and heavily guarded occurrences, often lasting less than an hour and leaving little room for genuine reconciliation. The children born of this new transatlantic life became figures of mystery to their British relatives, growing up thousands of miles away from the pageantry, the historic palaces, and the grandfather who wears the crown. Year after year, the possibility of a complete family return seemed to dwindle to absolute zero, blocked by complex disagreements over status, public roles, and an ongoing, deeply contentious battle regarding personal safety. Evening Standard, however, the nature of international scrutiny ensures that nothing remains hidden forever, and a series of quiet, deliberate movements over the past several months have begun to point toward a dramatic and unexpected turning point. Rumors have intensified regarding a highly anticipated gathering in the heart of the United Kingdom, an event that serves as a powerful reminder of a legacy that cannot be easily erased or abandoned. Observers have noted that while the official relationships remain formally strained, the underlying personal bonds and a mutual desire to look toward the future may be quietly overriding years of public hostility. This is not merely about an individual returning to his homeland for a fleeting charitable appearance or a brief legal hearing, as has occurred occasionally in recent years, but rather something far more substantial and emotionally charged. It involves a coordinated effort to bring an entire family unit back to British soil, a move that would represent the most significant collective return since the historic milestones of 2022. The sheer logistical and emotional weight of such an undertaking cannot be overstated, requiring a massive alignment of personal schedules, institutional permissions, and complex logistical guarantees that have spent years stuck in a state of gridlock. The sudden shift in momentum has caught even the most seasoned royal experts completely off guard, reversing assumptions that were treated as absolute facts just days prior. It had become a widely accepted truth in media circles that certain members of the California-based family would likely never set foot in Great Britain again, given the intense scrutiny, the lack of official roles, and the perceived hostility of the public environment. Sources close to the family had repeatedly signaled that the risks were simply too high and the emotional cost too great to justify a collective journey back to the birthplace of the prince. Yet, the latest indications suggest a stunning about-face, an intentional decision to embrace a rare and high-profile visit next month that could fundamentally alter the trajectory of the ongoing royal saga. This upcoming mid-July journey is not a spontaneous vacation, but a carefully calculated milestone tied to a globally recognized sporting competition that holds immense personal meaning for the Duke. As preparations accelerate behind the scenes, the sense of intrigue continues to mount, leaving the public to wonder what specific guarantees have been made, what private conversations have occurred between a father and his son, and whether this summer will witness the beginning of a genuine royal restoration or a temporary truce in an ongoing war of attrition. The precise center of this escalating drama is the vibrant city of Birmingham, which is preparing to host the prestigious Invictus Games in the summer of 2027. Next month, a massive one-year countdown party is scheduled to take place, marking a critical milestone for the international adaptive sporting competition that Prince Harry founded back in 2014 for wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans. This project has always been the jewel in the Duke's professional crown, a deeply personal initiative that connects his military past with his global philanthropic future, and his attendance at this British-hosted countdown is viewed as non-negotiable. What transforms this specific official appearance into an event of staggering global interest, however, is the revelation that the Duke of Sussex is actively planning to bring his entire family with him, including his wife Meghan Markle, their 7-year-old son Prince Archie, and their 5-year-old daughter Princess Lilibet. This collective journey would mark the first time the entire family has set foot together on British soil in over 4 years, since they traveled across the Atlantic in June 2022 to attend the historic Platinum Jubilee celebrations of the late Queen Elizabeth II. For the two young children, who have spent the vast majority of their lives immersed in the peaceful, private routine of their estate in Montecito, California, this upcoming mid-July voyage represents a profound, potentially overwhelming introduction to their father's homeland and his sprawling, complicated heritage. The logistics of planning such a high-profile cross-continental journey are exceptionally fraught, primarily due to the intense and ongoing battle over personal safety that has plagued the Sussexes since their departure from frontline royal duties. When Prince Harry and Meghan stepped down from their roles as working royals in 2020, they were automatically stripped of their round-the-clock, taxpayer-funded metropolitan police bodyguards, a decision that deeply distressed the prince and sparked a prolonged, highly public legal warfare with the British government. The state's current position is that the family is offered armed police bodyguards only on a case-by-case basis, heavily depending on whether the visit is deemed official or strictly private and commercial in nature. Harry has made his profound dissatisfaction with these ad hoc arrangements abundantly clear, explicitly stating in legal documents and media interviews that he does not feel it is safe to bring his young children to Great Britain unless they are granted full-time, state-vetted armed police protection. In the past, the Duke was so determined to secure this specific level of security that he took the Home Office to court, losing a bitter legal battle last year, but subsequently launching a determined appeal that is now reportedly nearing a final definitive decision. The tension surrounding this security issue reached a fever pitch just last week, creating a whirlwind of conflicting reports that left royal commentators thoroughly bewildered. Initially, well-placed sources told prominent American publications that Meghan and the children were absolutely not expected to join Harry on this British trip, citing the unresolved security gridlock and the intense anxiety surrounding their public exposure. However, in a stunning about-face that has sent shockwaves through the British media, it appears that Harry has recently expressed satisfaction with the evolving security arrangements being organized for the mid-July visit. While Buckingham Palace has rigidly declined to comment on the matter, royal aides have quietly emphasized that all protective details remain an issue strictly for the Home Office and its specialized Royal and VIP Executive Committee, known as RAVEC. This sudden shift suggests that behind closed doors, a delicate compromise may have been reached, or a long-awaited risk assessment has finally provided the prince with the peace of mind he has desperately sought for his family's physical well-being. When traveling to the United Kingdom for private work or independent charity events, Harry currently funds his own unarmed private security team, which uniquely includes highly trained former Metropolitan Police officers. But these private teams lack the legal authority, specialized weaponry, and intelligence access granted to active, state-sponsored armed units. This complex logistical dance takes place against a backdrop of deeply fractured familial relationships, most notably between the Duke of Sussex and his older brother, Prince William. The two brothers remain firmly and completely estranged, a bitter divide that has shown absolutely no signs of healing despite profound health crises within the immediate family over the past year. The roots of this hostility run incredibly deep, exacerbated by a barrage of public accusations leveled by Harry in high-profile interviews, a sweeping Netflix documentary series, and his raw, tell-all memoir, where he alleged physical altercations and a systemic lack of support from his older sibling. Compounding the geographical and emotional awkwardness of the upcoming visit is the reality of royal scheduling, as Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, traditionally spend a significant portion of their summer holidays at Anmer Hall, their sprawling country residence located on the King's private Sandringham estate in Norfolk. Earlier this year, close friends of Harry leaked to the media that the Duke desperately wanted King Charles to invite his family to stay at Sandringham this summer, a gesture that would allow the monarch a rare opportunity to bond with his grandchildren in a secure, secluded environment. However, sources close to the palace quickly counterbriefed that a profound sense of low trust and bitter experience over a relentless string of leaks from Team Sussex made such an invitation extraordinarily difficult, if not entirely impossible, to extend, despite the thick layer of suspicion that has coated all communications between California and London. An intriguing counter-narrative has begun to emerge from the Duke's immediate circle in Los Angeles. A business associate close to the 41-year-old prince has recently claimed that there has been a subtle but genuine warming of the frost between Harry and his father in recent months. This tentative softening of relations follows a highly private and brief meeting that took place last September, when Harry visited the United Kingdom for a charity event and joined King Charles for a private tea at Clarence House. Spending exactly 54 minutes with his father after 19 long months of total face-to-face separation. For King Charles, who has been enduring a demanding year of medical treatments while attempting to maintain his constitutional duties, the ongoing separation from his youngest grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet, has reportedly been a source of quiet but profound sadness. The children have not seen their grandfather in person since June 2022, meaning 5-year-old Lilibet has virtually no living memory of the monarch. And 7-year-old Archie has spent his formative years entirely detached from his paternal family. For Harry, the inability to safely bring his wife and children to his homeland to reconnect with old friends and childhood spaces has been a persistent emotional burden, a natural parental desire that has been continuously thwarted by the harsh realities of international celebrity, security threats, and fractured institutional trust. The deep institutional and cultural significance of this impending family reunion extends far beyond the immediate circle of the royal family, touching upon the very definition of modern monarchical identity and the legacy of the late Queen Elizabeth II. Some prominent royal commentators and historians have begun to interpret this sudden transatlantic shift not merely as a temporary visit, but as the potential unraveling of the strict boundaries established during the infamous Sandringham Summit of 2020. At that historic crossroad, the late monarch firmly rejected the concept of an official half-in, half-out royal status, decreeing that a clean break was necessary to preserve the dignity and political neutrality of the crown. For 6 years, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have navigated a complex path in complete defiance of that original framework, traveling to distant nations, establishing substantial commercial ventures, and monetizing their global brand while remaining detached from official state duties. If this upcoming mid-July trip succeeds, with full family attendance and acceptable security accommodations, it could represent the quiet realization of the exact compromise they long sought, fundamentally altering how the family operates across multiple continents. It is a development that some institutional traditionalists view with immense concern, fearing it could create a confusing precedent, while others see it as a necessary modern evolution for a family that must somehow reconcile ancient traditions with the realities of global media exposure. To understand why this moment carries such immense emotional weight, one must examine the complex personal histories of the central participants. Most notably, King Charles III himself. As a monarch who ascended the throne later in life, Charles has faced the monumental task of streamlining the institution while simultaneously managing unprecedented personal and familial upheaval. Throughout his life, his approach to parenthood has been a subject of intense public debate, with Prince Harry famously noting in his memoirs that while his father was not always naturally equipped for single parenthood following the tragic loss of Diana, Princess of Wales, he nevertheless made a genuine and constant effort to support his sons. The king's private plea to his children following the funeral of the Duke of Edinburgh, imploring them not to make his final years a misery, now resonates with heartbreaking clarity as Harry navigates his current health struggles. For a father enduring the dual burdens of a demanding reign and intensive medical treatments, the prolonged separation from his youngest grandchildren has been a source of profound, quiet sorrow. The opportunity to finally interact in person with 7-year-old Archie and 5-year-old Lilibet on British soil represents a rare window of personal comfort, independent of the heavy, unyielding machinery of statecraft and the constant glare of global publicity. At the same time, the trip serves as a powerful reminder of Prince Harry's enduring commitment to the specific British charitable organizations that have formed the backbone of his public life since his youth. While the primary catalyst for the journey is the massive one-year countdown celebration for the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham, the Duke's itinerary includes vital engagements with long-standing patronages that he refused to abandon when he relocated to North America. Among these are Wellchild, an organization dedicated to supporting seriously ill children and their families across the United Kingdom, and Scotty's Little Soldiers, a charity that provides essential comfort, community, and support to children who have lost a parent serving in the British Armed Forces. Harry's relationships with these specific causes are deeply rooted in his own lived experience of childhood loss and his profound connection to the military community. By stepping onto British soil to look into the eyes of these families, the prince reinforces a legacy of service that remains entirely distinct from the ongoing institutional disputes with the palace. These engagements demonstrate that despite the vast geographical distance and the bitter rhetoric of recent years, his identity remains inextricably bound to the social and charitable fabric of his homeland. The choice of Birmingham as the host city for the 2027 Invictus Games adds a profound layer of national pride and historical symmetry to this unfolding chapter. When Prince Harry launched the initial competition in London back in 2014, it was conceived as a powerful, transformative platform to showcase the resilience, athleticism, and unconquerable spirit of wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women from across the globe. Bringing the Games back to the United Kingdom for its spectacular 2027 iteration represents a massive homecoming for the event, transforming the upcoming mid-July countdown party into a milestone of immense significance for the international veteran community. For the Duke, presenting this triumphant return alongside his wife and children is a deeply purposeful act, allowing him to share his most significant life's work with the people he loves most, within the very nation that shaped his early identity. The event stands as a neutral ground where the toxic disputes of the past can be temporarily overshadowed by a shared celebration of human triumph and international camaraderie, providing a rare moment of unity in an otherwise fractured landscape. Ultimately, the true success of this high-stakes summer visit will depend entirely on whether both sides can maintain a fragile truce in the face of relentless media scrutiny and deeply ingrained suspicion. Palace officials remain hyper-vigilant regarding the potential for future leaks or media briefings, as past experiences have left a profound scar on institutional trust, making any step toward reconciliation an exceptionally cautious endeavor. The presence of the Duchess of Sussex, who has not made a prolonged or substantive visit to the United Kingdom since the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II in September 2022, ensures that public interest will remain at an absolute fever pitch throughout the duration of their stay. As the Home Office nears its highly anticipated decision regarding the family's long-term security provision, the entire world holds its breath to see if this mid-July journey will serve as the permanent foundation for a restored family harmony, or merely a fleeting, beautifully staged interlude in a multi-generational drama that has permanently redefined the contemporary British monarchy. The stage